Every time there's an archetype somewhere in your life that has said, you're getting too big for your britches, or you're not feeling worthy of taking it up to the next level. And those are all beliefs that aren't ours. Those are all untruths that aren't ours. I had to do the journey inward into my heart and say, what does it feel like to live from the heart, free of judgment, free of expectations? Or they should be doing this, or we must do that. And it's like, that's not living from the heart. That's living from the ego. There's abundance for all. And it's tapping into the quantum energy of the abundance for all that a journey would do. And it's taking that journey layer by layer and pulling back the veil one more time. And that's what people are finding the hardest right now. Is the veils are so thin. You just got to walk through. Watch how you're talking to yourself, because you're not broken. You're not making mistakes. You're here for a purpose and a reason. Now is the time to open up to that reason. Because we got to remember, all of us have never been here before. And so have grace and be gentle with yourself, that you're doing the best you can. And as you learn more, and you'll do better.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's conversation. You may have been watching the podcast videos but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you've ever gained value from our videos, from our conversations, it would mean so much to us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now, or even just give us a like. And what that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it allows us to bring in more important guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's conversation. Welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast. My name is Sophia from Sacred You. With me today, I'm really excited because the beautiful Adele Bernard is with us on today's episode. Welcome, Adele. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Thank you for the invite. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yeah, we're going to have a wonderful conversation, which is really close to my heart because we're in a world today where so many people are transitioning from different careers, from lifestyles, from relationships, all sorts, and they're not even really sure their purpose, what they're supposed to be doing, or who they really are. And so we're going to have a talk, a chat about how we can connect with ourselves, the journey inward, and really connect with your authentic self. Really excited. And you are, Adele, a transition mentor, and you help people worldwide reconnect with their true light, which is really basically their true self, by aligning their energy and releasing all that stuff that keeps us stuck, stagnant. So I'd love to start, Adele. Tell us first about you and your journey to release your stagnant stuff, to how you became authentic, and what first inspired you to walk this path.
So I learned very young that I was an intuitive. I was aware of it at 3 years old. And in knowing that, I didn't realize that, or I did realize, I should say, that I would take on other people's energy. And so I would feel in my body what was going on with them. And it wasn't until later in life that I was like, oh, I don't have to take this on. Oh, I can be aware of the energy, but I don't have to internalize it and get it stuck in my own body. And then I started working with people in their homes, clearing the energy of their homes. And then I was guided to work with more people individually to bring them home, like to their hearts. And so I like walking them home to who they authentically are. And recently, I am now working with men. And I know you primarily work with women, and I honor that. But I also know the men are crying to be
Mm.
seen, to be heard. And and so yeah, so the men in my program, if the wives or the girlfriends or the women in their life want to join in, they're more than welcome, but they'll be in their own class. And it's more about the energy of when you're living from your heart, the head can't take you down rabbit holes.
Yes.
When you're living from your head and you've disconnected from your heart, you're living a roller coaster life. And I'm not saying as the person who speaks of this doesn't have those roller coaster days because I do. It's I'm more aware of it faster and I can bring myself back to center easier.
Mm.
And the fastest way to bring us back to center is to align the body back to the breath. Doing those deep belly breaths, not the collarbone breath, which most people still are only doing the collarbone breath. They don't even realize that they haven't even opened up their lungs.
Yes.
Because I know when I do breath work with people, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh." I go, "Your lungs are hurting." Like they're feeling the creak and crack. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. And I think for myself, it's just my calling.
Yes.
Like people talk about that purpose, that what are they here to do? And I truly believe this is why I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And first of all, can I honor you for following your calling and working with predominantly men? Because as you said, yes, there's so many men in our world that are also experiencing transitions, that are
Mhm.
also feeling lost. And I love it how you say that when we live from our heart, the head cannot take you down the rabbit holes, which
Mhm.
happens so much going down the rabbit holes. So I absolutely love that and thoroughly also recommend it. So thank you. And why do you think, you know, so many people who are in the transitions, and especially men, they're going through their age. They may have got divorced, they may have lost their job. But why do you think these moments, these experiences are so disorienting?
A lot of it is because that we're caught in two paradigms. Because our parents and grandparents went to a job and stayed there for 45 years and retired.
Yes,
We're in a time now that an individual can have up to 15 careers.
yes,
Who knows what the millenniums and the Gen X is going to do? But at 15 careers, I'm like, are you joking? And the people I've been working with this year in particularly is like they feel like they were shocked by being let go from their job or having to move on. And I'm like, but this is the time your soul's going, knock, knock. Are you awakening? Because the I want to say, the people I work with and you work with, we're not broken.
no,
We have a good life. But what if we could have a fantastic life? And so, say someone, 50s, whatever, lost their job, and say they're an engineer. I like picking on engineers because that's usually who I work with. But yet, as a hobby, they're a fantastic artist or musician, or it's all engineering. The underlying is all math. And by losing the job, they get to pull back, reflect, and say, what's my next step? I'm going to finally step into being that artist because we were told the artist doesn't make money. You have to get it 9 to 5. You have a family. And it's no, be the artist because one painting could pay for 3 months of work, 9 to 5. And so we're being asked to broaden our horizons, open our hearts, and just be aware of all the opportunities coming to us.
Mm.
We don't have to say yes to anything, or we could say yes to all of it, but it's being aware of what is being gifted to us because abundance is here. And more importantly, when this is airing, we are going to be in the new era of, in the Chinese, say the fire horse, right? 2025 was all about the ending, the completions, the getting squished out of what we don't want to take forward. And I'm like, yay. I'm so excited for 26.
Yes, it's going to be a fantastic year. Absolutely. I think it already is because, as you said, when this is airing, we will be in 2026. And we know with being a one and the fire horse, it will be an amazing year. But can I ask you, Adele, why do so many people, especially men, why do we get stuck in our energy fields? Like, how do people even realize? Let's take it right back at the beginning. How do people even realize that they're just not moving forward?
This is generalization for men, but I think it stems back to when they're a child.
Mhm.
They're not allowed to talk. They're not allowed to share their feelings. They're not allowed to show emotions. And so they grow up in their life like holding it all in. And so when something does happen, like a loss of job or a spouse dies or something big happens, they're told not to talk about it.
Mm.
They're told to man up, to deal with it. And they can't, right? They're like they're going through the same traumas as women are, but they don't have that girlfriend to call up and say, let's meet at the coffee shop. And I want to change that majorly in 2026, that they have a safe space to speak. They're stronger men when they're vulnerable. And a lot of times, their wives aren't the place to go home to
Mhm.
for that. And I'm also asking the women to step up to say, you want your man to come out of the cave. Are you ready to accept all of him? Because on a different podcast, I actually said we sent them to the cave.
We do.
And when that realization came to me earlier this week, I was like, what do you mean we send them to the cave? Because we're so busy handling it all, they don't know how to interject to be part of the family. And I'm saying they're the keystone of the family, but we haven't allowed them to be. And so it is about putting our own self back and saying, how can I support you? And be genuine in that, right? Be that soft space for them to share and cry in your arms and show their vulnerability. Because by the women allowing that to happen for their men, their relationship will expand immensely.
And it works both ways too.
Yes.
If you can, in a relationship, if you can work on your relationship to a stage where you're both there for each other
Hmm.
and you allow each other to express your emotions, to share your feelings without judgment, without being cut off, without any of that, but just purely just to be a vessel to hold space for each other and stuff.
And I have a prime example of a couple who are dynamic in their own being, and he was a partner in a law firm, so it wasn't like a slouch. And he came home one day, and his wife looked at him and said, "What's wrong?" And he goes, "I don't know if I can even tell you this." And she says, "We can handle anything together." And he says, "They've sucked my soul dry. I cannot go back to work." And she goes, "We'll figure it out." And that's the support that I'm saying that we have to give each other. It's just no questions asked. Let the share happen. We'll figure it out. I'm not saying it's easy street going forward because that's a huge thing, right? Like leaving a partnership, but they figured it out.
Mm.
And their kids are stronger for it,
Yes, they would be. And their
right? Because
relationship,
they saw mom and dad come together as a unit.
yes,
We'll figure it out.
exactly. And together you can definitely figure just about anything out. Thank you for that. So tell us about your actual work, Adele. What do you offer? I know you do astrology and guidance, you're an intuitive, and share all your wisdom. How do these tools and everything else that you offer really help someone to understand themselves a lot clearer?
So right now I'm working with an 8-week program that is digging into the archetypes of your life. We all have themes in our life that kind of play a role, right? So we have the money theme. So you have a business and it's making $500,000 a year and everything's going tickety boo, but you want to take it up to the million. And you're like, how can I take it up to the million? And every time there's an archetype somewhere in your life that has said, you're getting too big for your britches, or people like us don't make that kind of money, or you don't feel you're not feeling worthy of taking it up to the next level. And those are all beliefs that aren't ours. Those are all untruths that aren't ours. And
Yes,
so I work with people to realize that those beliefs are also not our truth. And it's realigning to our truth of the reason we have a body, the reason God has put this soul in this body to say, this is what I want you to share with the world, right? And it's not these big grandeur things. It is, could be, you could be the light that smiles at every person. And if you just make that smile every time you see somebody, it changes everyone that you reach in a day. And it's remembering that we are a full, complete droplet of the ocean, which makes the whole ocean. But as our own, we are the ocean. And people have forgotten that. We get into these ego bodies and we say, oh, I'm bigger than that. And I can, it's no. Chill, come back, start living from love and compassion in your heart, and know you are in unison, in unity with the whole of this earth. We might not know, as we're recording this, I'm in Canada, you're in Australia, but together we come as two droplets of the ocean
yes,
and do magic.
yes.
We don't know who this podcast is going to touch, but we know who it will touch. Will feel the love coming from us in the unity of oneness.
Mm. As you merge with the ocean, as you become the ocean.
As we are the ocean.
Yes, yes. Mm. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. What does walking yourself home really mean to you? And how does it show up?
So that term came when I was struggling myself with who I'm supposed to be guiding. And I had to do some hard reflection of myself to say, am I living my life from my heart? I'm telling people that I'm working with to live from their heart, but am I doing it?
Yes.
And I was shown parts of me that weren't fully shining bright. And so I had to do the journey inward into my heart and say, what does it feel like to live from the heart? Free of judgment, free of expectations. or they should be doing this, or we must do that. It's like, that's not living from the heart. That's living from the ego.
Mm.
And as long as I keep checking myself, and I do check myself pretty regular throughout the day, where am I? Am I in my heart? Am I in my head? Am I speaking truth? Right? Because if it's not truth, I can tell in my voice as it comes out. There's those subtle nuances of, really?
Yeah.
Is that your truth? And so it's truly being at home in your heart, regardless of what the outside world is doing.
Mm. I like that. Truly being at home in your heart.
Yeah.
Because we know when we're not being totally authentic, that we're not being totally real. When we're talking to someone and we're not being true to ourselves and therefore not being
Hmm.
true to them in whatever we're sharing. So
Hmm.
it's really being connecting to your heart and the truth that's within our heart. I like that. Because there's so much you've mentioned about being in the body, and we have this
Hmm.
body, to learning. Well, we have to learn to be in the body
Absolutely.
because, again, I think we're also in a stage where a lot of people, both men and women, want to or are trying to detach themselves from the body or detach themselves from their feelings, from not being in their heart. So, why is it so important that we are in the body, that we become embodied beings?
Well, an example that I can think of is going for a massage, right? So the massage therapist shows up embodied to work on this body that is coming to be on their table. But you're still at work. Your body might be there, but you're still at work. So what they're trying to get knots out of, you're not even there to embrace.
Yes,
And then you leave and you're like, I can't go back to them. I hurt too much.
yes,
Because you weren't there in the beginning. They
yes,
only can work on a body that is fully there. And so in my example of my own body, if I'm not embodied when I get on that table, I'm seriously hurt for weeks. It's not the massage therapist's fault.
no.
I chose not to show up for my own appointment.
Your body went and left you at work.
Yeah.
So your
It said,
mind,
oh, yeah, it's massage day. But my mind said, oh, I don't think I'm ready for this today.
mm,
And it's being aware of where we are. And so I'm a walker. And I've noticed in the last 5 years, I stay away from main intersections at certain times of the day because I've come too close to getting hit from
mm,
absent drivers. And it's, nope, I think I'll just go around this way or I'll go down this way.
mm,
And I thought maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being too hyper vigilant until I was in the same crosswalk as a dad and a little boy. This car was going to plow down all three of us. And I said, okay, thanks to universe, I don't need to see any more reactions that it's not just me. These drivers are not in
well,
behind the wheel.
no. We live in a world now, people are a bit weary or critical of driverless cars that are starting to come out and AI and everything else. But yet, as you said, there's so many people who get in the cars, who are behind the wheel, but are not there. And
From my understanding from friends that have been in these driverless vehicles, they're safer than their partners driving. And I'm like, what? They're safer than their partners driving. Because this is where AI is really helping us, right? They're taking all the statistics of all the bad drivers, all the accidents of why it happened, whatever, all these years of reports that have had to be done and say this driver won't do those because we've corrected them out of it. They've taken the human error out of it.
Yes.
And they can't go on their cell phone and be texting, and they can't, like,
They can't have their mind in a million different places
yeah.
and their hands on the wheels, but their mind's not there. So, yes,
Hmm.
they are a lot safer. Thank you.
Hmm.
What else can we learn from the body, Adele? What are some other lessons if we really listen to the body? What's it trying to tell us?
The body is a great store of information, of emotions. Like, for instance, if you have a sore shoulder, yes, it could be from a strain. 95% of the time, it's an emotion that's caught. It's something that has happened that you didn't deal with at the moment, and it just stayed in your shoulder. And there's a psychologist actually wrote the whole book of The Body Keeps the Score. And once you realize, oh, that anger in the shoulder on the feminine side or the masculine side, depending on which shoulder, and you go, oh, I really was angry at that time, and you allow your body to release it, your shoulder doesn't hurt anymore. And the whole thing, like how there's rampant disease in the world, I always just say, is it a disease or a dis-ease of the emotion?
Yes.
When they're saying, "Oh, we're going to cure cancer," and I'm like, that's an interesting thought. All dis-ease is emotions caught. Figure out the emotions, figure out the trauma, the dis-ease will leave.
Mm. Totally agree with you on that one. It's
Hmm.
amazing how our words are so accurate. We
Hmm.
go into them, and it's just that something that we are supposed to be, it's supposed to be easy and flowing is blocked.
Hmm.
So it becomes a
Hmm.
dis-ease and
Hmm.
can cause all sorts of things if it's not released.
I think the book study I was just in, you might have been there too, I'm not sure, with the four agreements. And the first agreement, be impeccable with your words, right? Because every time we say something, it's a good or bad spell to the universe, right? We don't have to go back to the witches' days. We're here. Be impeccable with your words. And I think if anything, AI is teaching us to have better prompts. Choose our words carefully because it has no emotions. It just takes what we say and makes whatever it needs to make. But if we're putting in wishy-washy prompts and if we're not clear and we're saying, I think I want this, but I know it's that, it's going to say, what are you talking about?
Very
And
true.
yeah, like even my little bit that I use the AIs, I'm like, oh, I am getting better at my prompts. I do the muddle fuddle out here before I go start typing. Because once I start typing, I should be clear. I might have to tweak a few things, but I should be clear.
Totally agree with you. And it's so
Hmm.
very true. And yes, in the book that you're mentioning, the Four Agreements, is to be impeccable with our words, especially with our own words. The words that
Hmm.
we speak with to ourselves is the
Hmm.
most important because, as you said, it's the prompts that we're giving the universe.
Yeah.
So, totally.
And it's also to be kind for ourselves first and foremost,
Yes.
because love starts at home. If we can't love ourselves, how can we ever think we could love anyone else?
Totally agree with you on that one too. And
Mm.
tell us, Adele, what does a session or a journey with you really look like for someone who is going through a transition in their life?
So, first of all, we figure out where their emotions are on the transition. Say someone lost their job and they're like shocked. It's okay. There's a reason you're not there, and it's not ageism. Like, I know that's been put out there. It's ageism, it's whatever. But I also know in this time, we're being asked to step up to our calling like no other time before. And it's digging in to really figure out what that heart song is for you. And the engineer, he might be going, why did I lose my job? Because down in his heart, he really wants to be an artist or a musician. And it's finding those steps to realign to those inner knowings that you're like, oh my gosh, if I could just play music. Because if people could play music and never have to worry about a bill, they would never get a job,
Mhm.
right? So it's breaking down those belief systems and those outward things saying, a musician, you're going to be broke your whole life. That's not true. There's abundance for all.
Mhm.
And it's tapping into the quantum energy of the abundance for all that a journey would do. So I do have the single session and I have the 8 week program. Yeah, I'll do an 8 week program for women too, if I get enough of them. And it's taking that journey layer by layer and pulling back the veil one more time, the veil one more time. And that's what people are finding the hardest right now, is the veils are so thin. You just got to walk through. And if you need some guidance, I'm here. I'll help you walk through it. I'm not telling you what you're going to do. I'm holding the space for you to go into your depths of your heart. Know that your gut is saying, they're finally waking up. We've been knocking on this door for so long. And you're in full alignment to take those steps, and they won't be scary because, as you said earlier, it's with ease and flow that we're able to be opening up these doors now,
Yes.
right? Before, maybe they were scary. Oh, I don't know. Am I leaving my job? I don't know. I can't be a musician. I got kids to feed. But
Mm.
you know what? You're going to feed them better
If you
following
are,
your heart because they're going to follow their heart.
yes. And we know that when we do follow our heart, it opens up the door to about that for abundance to come in. When we're not following our heart, we're blocking it, blocking that. So thank you. And
And life becomes hard.
and life becomes hard. Absolutely. And for everyone who is listening or watching to today's podcast, reach out to Adele. You want to know how to follow your heart. If you're going through any transition in your life, connect with Adele because she's a beautiful example, living example of what can happen when you follow your heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
And what about if someone is not quite sure what they're meant to do? How do you help them discover their blueprint, their soul's blueprint for them?
It starts with a conversation. And I always say, just let's have the first conversation. And if I'm not your person, I'll tell you. But I'm also saying, if I am your person or I'm not your person, we'll get you stepping one way or another into the new direction. Because the biggest thing, and people have said to me, do you know how hard it is for people to make a phone call?
Yes.
I go, I know. That's why I tell them to phone me. Book the appointment. Because the booking, what the booking of the appointment is, it's not saying you're saying yes to the transition. You're saying yes to understanding more knowledge, getting information to make an informed decision. And so I'm just saying, have the conversation. If I'm not your person, maybe Sophia's your person, maybe Joe's your person. I don't know, but I'll open up my Rolodex if I'm not your person. But the bigger thing is Ask your heart, am I ready to make the step for a conversation? No questions asked. If you're ready to move forward, we'll take that step when you're ready. If you're not ready, that's okay because it's with flow and ease.
Yes.
But I can't call you, so you have to call me for the first step.
Yes.
And
Yes.
from that first step, we might make 10 steps together, we might make no steps together. But you have to be the one to make the first step. And I would be honored to speak with any of you listening.
Totally and thoroughly recommend it.
Mhm.
And to help someone make that first step of calling you, what is one practice that you can recommend to really help them to start to make that first step, to reconnect with themselves, or to help people to be present in their daily life?
Everyone says meditation. That's great. I would say start as simple as sitting on a chair, aligning your hips, your shoulders, your neck, your head with your feet on the ground, and do deep belly breaths. In, let your body expand in your breath, in alignment. And maybe it's not sitting, maybe it's laying on the floor. But having that full alignment breath and fully feeling yourself in your body, it makes a whole difference. And then if you want to go deeper, there's meditation, there's automatic writing. And the way I do my automatic writing is I will start with the questions that I'm looking to be answered with my dominant pen hand, flip it to your non-dominant pen hand to get the answers.
Mm,
That way your mind can't get involved.
absolutely. And it just comes out, as you say, automatically. We're
And
allowed.
if you say you can't read it after, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Your soul has heard it.
Yes. Yeah, we're allowing your soul to speak, not your head, not your ego, but your actual soul. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing those tips. And again, for everyone who's watching, there are more if you click on the links below and reach out to Adele. And Adele, in your experience, what's a common mistake that many people make on this journey, on finding themselves, on the journey of walking themselves home? And how can they avoid those mistakes?
First of all, there is no mistakes because you're made in the vision of God, whether you believe in God or not, universe. Every step is a learning, is an awareness. And I think the biggest thing people, like we've said, is watch how you're talking to yourself because
Yeah,
you're not broken. You're not making mistakes. You're here for a purpose and a reason. And now is the time to open up to that reason. Because we got to remember, all of us have never been here before at this point in time
yes,
of leaving the Piscean age, going into the Aquarian age, like moving into unity of consciousness. Like we've never been here before. And so have grace and be gentle with yourself that you're doing the best you can. And as you learn more and you'll do better.
absolutely. Totally, again, totally agree with you. You need to have grace
Yeah.
and just to be gentle on yourself. And as you said, just to come from your heart, to sit in stillness with those
Mm.
deep belly breaths. Listen, listen to your heart, listen to your soul. What is it trying to tell you? Thank you. And if you could whisper one truth into the heart of every person who is not sure of what they're supposed to be doing, what would it be?
Know you're loved. Yeah. Outside outside circumstances don't matter.
Yeah.
You're loved for who you are.
Which allows us to really, I think, to start to love ourselves for who we are. The most
Mhm.
important thing to really,
Oh, the conditionings over lifetimes have been our biggest detriment to
yes.
knowing that we're loved. And it's funny because I remember years ago, someone was saying, "Oh, you are loved when you can stand in front of a full length mirror naked, say, I am loved." And I was like, "Oh, people can't do that?" And the room just looked at me and I'm like, "Oh,
Mm.
I've never had a problem. Big, small, whatever. I'm loved. I'm a child of God." And have I beat myself up? Yeah. But he also has come to console me.
And congratulations on being at that stage because yes, not many people could do that.
Yeah.
But it is such a powerful thing to do, is as you said, to stand in front of a mirror completely naked and really love yourself and say that I am love.
But if we can't do that, then we're telling our soul we're not worthy to have this body.
Yes.
And I don't believe that we're not worthy. I believe we're all worthy to be here. And we're all love in our own way. And it's interesting because I had a friend the other day say, "How come you're so good with death?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "You just know how to handle it and talk about it." And I said, "We don't die." And she goes, "What?" And I go, "We let go of our meat suit. That's okay. But our essence never dies."
Mm.
And maybe that's part of my gift of that, even though my grandparents have gone, they're probably with me more now that they're on the other side than they ever were here because we never lived on the same continent together.
Yes. Totally. All the time.
Yeah, and so it's like they're more with me to this day because they can be with me. They don't have their meat suit on another continent saying they can't.
Mm. They don't need to fly in an aeroplane or catch a boat or anything else.
Yeah,
Make a phone call. They're there with you totally.
yeah,
Yes. We fear death so much, but we don't realize how much that when we do leave this body, we become unlimited.
yeah.
We can still connect with others. Most people are not able to communicate without the body. That's why we have the body, is to communicate in this physical world. But
But
once,
even that's changing.
yes, but once we leave it, it becomes unlimited because the body does limit us in a lot of things that we want to do.
And I think also too in my earlier work, I used to help people transition. And so if I have people in the hospital, I usually phone and say, "You know why I'm not coming? Yes, please stay away." And so it's become the joke, right? If I go into a hospital, other than they've gone to a routine, whatever, they're totally fine. I don't go. If they're on that teeter of staying or going, I do not go because I know if I go, they have 20 to 48 hours before they transition. So I stay away, send my love. You do your choice. I'm good with either way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
But yeah, no, it's really funny when it's, "Oh no, thank God you didn't come." Like,
you. No, not quite ready yet to go yet, Adele.
yeah, but the thing is, like, I'll feel them teetering.
Yes.
And so then I'll go into my meditation and start doing my work. And I'll just say, "This is my hospital visit. You're teetering. What are you choosing?" And then I'll see them pull out of it.
Mm.
Like I have a friend right now, like it's a miracle she's alive. And she knows it. She knows it.
Good. Hopefully she will still be alive for however long she wants to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Adele, can I ask you before we wrap up, what does the pathway of well-being mean for you?
For me, it is staying in alignment as much as possible.
Yes.
Even though I teach this work and I walk people through this work, I'm only as good as much as I can do it, as I can be in alignment and listening to my inner heart. And I can get thrown off just as easy as anyone else.
Mm.
But it's when we get thrown off, how fast does it take us to realign? That's the question. And that's my biggest thing right now is I don't know if it's just the end of 2025 and all the craziness that's happening astrologically and whatever. Staying grounded is very important in December of 25. And we don't know what January, February, March is going to look like, other than we know the energy is going to be softer. And we're being asked to be more aware of the subtleties. 20 years ago, it's, oh, I got hit by a 2x4. That was a common saying in North America. And now it's, was that a feather? The whispers are coming. The gentleness is coming,
Mm.
right?
Listen, listen to the whispers.
Yeah,
Yes.
because they've been happening all along. We just haven't been listening.
Yes. Very true. Totally agree with you there.
And you, like, you say, how do I work with people? I think that my greatest gift is I hear what they're saying in between the words. A lot is said in face gestures, body language. And so you take all that into the what they're speaking and you go, "Oh, this is where you want to go."
Mm.
You think you're going over here, but you're actually going over here. And they go, "I am?" I'm like, "Yes, you are." And then as you open that up, they're like, "How did you know?" And I go, "He told me."
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And what's a final message or intention that you would like to leave our listeners with?
I guess the biggest thing I could say to the audience out there listening is this is the time of true awakening to yourself, to your heart, and to truly engage in the gifts that you were given to share on this planet.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what they are, ask for help.
Mhm.
And it's not a bad thing to ask for help. I
Yes.
know that's a belief out there that it's a bad thing. It's not. We are not supposed to do this journey alone. If we were, we'd be on an island of one, but we're on a planet of 8 billion people. So reach out, ask for help.
Thank you. Very powerful because it's very true. And I totally agree with you again. Not everyone does that. People don't give themselves permission to say that I need help in whatever it may be.
And here's a funny example was I was doing all this networking and I was done with North America. I was like, if I get pitched one more time on a get to know you call, I'm not doing this anymore. And the next call I had was someone who networked in Australia. And I'm like, okay, I'll try Australia. And I met all you wonderful people. So I'm like, you just have to ask. You don't assume where the answer's coming from. Because I would have never thought to meet this person. And then she just opened up my
Oh,
networking like in so many ways.
mm, yeah,
So yeah,
totally. Thank you. And yes, Australia is full of a lot of great people for you to connect with.
yeah, I love meeting Australians.
Mm. And Adele, is there any other question that I could have asked you today? And how would you have answered it?
I just, I want people to understand that we are in very changing times. Things are speeding up super fast. I haven't talked to a soul that hasn't said, what happened to 25? Weren't we just in January and now we're in December? And it's just taking the breaks to get the breath, to be centered, and you will be okay. You got this. And remembered you're loved.
Totally. Love that as a final thing. Remember that you are loved
Yeah.
and allow yourselves the breaks and those deep breaths, even in this crazy time, because I personally believe the pandemic that was however many years ago now, I've been people are starting to forget about it. But it was a lesson for us to slow down, which we didn't do because we went online and everything sped up so very much quickly because instead of taking the time to write a letter and go post it, now it's instantaneous.
Mhm.
So we can put more into our day and therefore the illusion of time speeds up. But yes, but just
But
know that you are.
as you brought up the pandemic, it also was a huge catalyst of awakening.
Yes.
When people said, oh, I don't fit in the 9 to 5 job. I'm better working all night.
Yeah.
But the companies are saying, no, you have to come in
Yes.
back to the office at least 3 times a week. And it's like they're losing employees over it.
Mm. Totally.
Because we all have our own biorhythms and we have to listen to those biorhythms. And I know when I was in corporate, I would end up in the hospital. I'm like, what am I in the hospital again? Because I was going to work for 7 a.m. I'm not supposed to be out of bed until after 7 a.m. because my body is regenerating. And here I'm like rushing off to go downtown to work. And it was like, by the time I got to work, I was like done for the day. And I pushed through and pushed through.
Until your
So,
body said no more.
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much for today's conversation. It's been a wonder. I've taken many notes. I love so much aligning your body to your breath. Have those deep belly breaths, not the collarbone breaths. First time I've
mhm,
actually ever heard of it described that way as a collarbone breath, because we breathe so shallow and it's
mhm.
really it's up here. It's not those deep belly breaths. Love that. You know,
And I'll just add one more thing to that. When I was a tour operator, the Europeans didn't have CPAP machines.
Mm.
3/4 of the bus of Americans would have CPAP machines. And I'm like, why? The CPAP machine is because they forget to breathe all day, that the machine keeps them living at night.
Because they're not breathing properly.
Yeah.
Totally. And I think the best one is when you live from your heart, the head cannot take you down the rabbit holes. Love that. Thank you. And for everyone who is listening or watching to today's podcast again, click on the links below, reach out to Adele, have that conversation because you never know where it's going to lead you. And as Adele said, even if you're not their person, you could lead them on to someone else who is.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much. Been a wonder.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. As we wrap up today's enlightening episode of the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast, I would really like to thank Adele Bernard for such a wonderful conversation. Her invitation to walk yourself home through heart-centered presence reminds us that the journey inward is where transformation begins. If you would love to explore Adele's work further, be sure to check out her transformative 8-week program that helps uncover and shift limiting beliefs, especially around wealth, success, and purpose. Adele also offers specialized guidance for men navigating life transitions, along with intuitive services and astrology readings. You will find all the details in the links below. At Sacred You, we are committed to creating a space where women from all over the world can support, uplift, and empower each other. Visit our website and check out all our upcoming events, community offerings, and workshops. We are at Sacred You, that's the letter U, .love. As always, if this episode spoke to you, please subscribe to our podcast, share it with a friend, or leave us a review. And as Adele shared, living authentically starts with being present in your body and aligned with your heart so that your head does not continue to take you down those rabbit holes. Until next time, stay grounded, stay inspired, stay connected, and keep walking your pathway to well-being. From our hearts to yours, thank you.